Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Sky Elise J, and I am back with another video. If you are a new subscriber, welcome to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back, homegirl or homeboy, whoever might be watching. Appreciate you for showing support. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't be watching my videos and not subscribing, okay? But listen, boy, are y'all in for a treat today. Okay? Listen. God has done it again. He be showing out. I tell you, listen. I am so excited to do this video because I have so much tea. Well, we're not really going to be sipping tea. We're going to be stating facts. But I got such a great testimony to give to y'all that the whole world got to witness. Okay? This is just an awesome testimony and a real life example to show you how God will prepare your table in the presence of your enemies. Okay, so if you are in a place right now where you are down and you are suffering and you feel like the world is against you, just keep the faith in the Lord because He got your back. Okay, but without further ado, let's get into today's video. So as I just said, I am so excited to do this video today because if you don't know already, if you're not familiar, there is a reality show on CBS called Big Brother. So on this game show, it has had a total of 24 seasons, and never ever in history on a regular season of Big Brother has an African American woman been the winner. So guess what, y'all? We just beat history. On September 25th, Taylor Hale was the first African American woman to win Big Brother. Okay, and there has been other types of Big Brother, like Celebrity Big Brother, which I am familiar with, that Tamar won. But when it comes to regular seasons of Big Brother, she is the first African American woman to win in history in 24 years. 24 years, okay? So let's give a round of applause to the Black girl magic, okay? Basically, this is just such a great win for her because throughout the whole competition, she was ostracized, she was bullied, she was mistreated. She was constantly stereotyped, okay? And people were painting her out to be the angry Black woman and the seductress of the game, okay? She managed to pull through this win and pull through the competition with style and grace, okay, honey? So I just want to give y'all the rundown on how she was able to go from triumph to triumphant, okay? So without further ado, let's get into the details, okay? So if you aren't familiar with how Big Brother works, I just want to explain that to y'all. Big Brother is basically a reality game show where 20 contestants all stay in one house during the summer. They have no access to the outside world. Throughout the entire competition, they have to compete in various competitions, various games, which can go from either puzzle games or like physical games. So you have to really be like mentally and physically in it, okay? So basically throughout the game, people form alliances and they work their social game to the best of their ability to avoid being nominated for eviction, and ultimately every week they vote one house guest out the house. So not only did she win, but she was on the block a total of 6 times, okay? A total of 6 different times, and she still managed to pull out the win, okay? So listen, that's the basis of the game. Let me just give you a little bit of background to exactly who Taylor is. Taylor Hale is an African American woman who was born and raised in West Bluefield, Michigan. She is 27 years old. She's also known for being a pageant queen. She competed for the title of Miss Michigan USA in the year of 2020, and she came runner up. Then she turned around and competed again the next year for Miss Michigan 2021 and ended up taking home the title. So sis is a born winner, okay? She's used to winning. She's also a model, and she did graduate from George Washington University. So not only is she a winner, but she is educated and beautiful, okay? Beauty and brains, period, okay? So with that being said, someone like her coming into the house can be very intimidating, okay? Women, especially black women who are confident, poised, eloquent, and feminine, okay? They can shake the room up, honey, okay? They shake the room up. Immediately, from the moment she stepped foot into the house, they automatically seen her as a threat based solely off of her beauty and her demeanor. That she was confident and she was very outgoing and outspoken. And honey, the house guests were not feeling it, okay? In Taylor's audition for Big Brother, she had stated that her mom told her while she was in the house to let people think that she was dumb, because of course you can't be beautiful and smart at the same time and black at the same time. Like, of course you're gonna be dumb, right? So she said that her mom actually told her to let people underestimate her, basically, and glide her way through the game, and she definitely did that with grace, okay? As early on as the first episode, she was already pinpointed as a target by literally all of the females in the house, okay? What happened was, it was one particular girl in the house by the name of Paloma. Paloma, very beautiful girl, okay? But we can all see here that she was intimidated by Taylor, okay? Not to get too far off with things off to the left, but typically women who look like this, who are the preferences of black men, they tend to think that they're better than black women. So automatically, when she seen Taylor in the house and she seen how beautiful she was.
Oh, yo. Yes. Get on the table.
Get it, Taylor! I'm playing pool with Pooch, Monty, and then Kyle. If I'm invited to play pool, I will. Am I a pool shark by any means? No. I would have gone if I had it. I'm trying to bond with the guys. I'm really nervous that they've already got this all-guys alliance. So the best thing I can do is try to play their rules and play their game. Playing a little bit of pool is an easy way to hear how they talk and communicate, so I can infiltrate, speak their language, and now start talking with them. That was hot.
Taylor is wonderfully attractive. She's very confident. She's witty and clearly competitive person.
My initial impression of Taylor is she wants to try to use her beauty to allure men, which is a strategy that is so old.
And she's seen how well she was getting along with not only the men in the house, but the women as well. She took it upon herself to start an all-girls alliance, including every single female in the house except for Taylor, okay?
What's her name? What's her name's up there? Taylor.
Boys are upstairs. The girls are downstairs. We have 2 women missing.
Nicole and, of course, Taylor. She wanted to go play her cards right with the boys. No surprise there.
Why is Taylor up there?
She's like the boys' girls, like the boys' girls instead of like the, you know what I'm talking about?
The girls, they're not girls. Wait, this is a room of girls.
This is the girls.
She's back. That's why she's trying to get good with the guys. She's full-time pageant. Since she was out of the womb. Since her mother was pageantry.
We need to manifest something here. If we make this happen, girls got to stick together.
We have no, seriously,
no. Immediately, y'all, Paloma made it her business to paint and create the narrative that Taylor was there to seduce the men. Initially, when Taylor came into the house, she was just trying to befriend everybody in general, because that's the queen that she is. So naturally, she's going to talk to the women and the men. But when Paloma had seen that the men were giving her a little extra attention and boosting her up and not really paying none of the other females any mind, she immediately took that as a threat. So she took it upon herself to go around the house being very catty, giving very much mean girl, talking trash talking Taylor to all of the other women in the house, okay? And I want y'all to pay attention to who are in these groups, okay? Who are in these groups talking about Taylor, okay? Because they're going to have a change of mind once it's all said and done. I want y'all to see exactly how they was acting to begin with.
Never know.
Taylor is a bigger threat than Nicole was, but she's my festy bestie right now. If I tell you that I'm happy about that, I would be lying.
I vote for one of my favorite people of this game.
I'm voting for the person that is carrying on something that I wish I could have carried on.
And over back saying
Hi guys, I love you and I miss you. I think you're both very deserving, but it's time to take our power back.
What about Taylor? What do you think about her? No, I'm thinking of Taylor. This whole time I've been thinking of Taylor. I think Taylor has no trust. Yeah. Oh, hell no. Like, I feel so rude. I feel so, no. I trust Jasmine. I'm thinking of Taylor. That's who's giving me the bad vibes. Oh, she gives me horrible vibes. Like, I dropped pineapple on the floor. What are you saying? Why did she? No, hell no. No, I dropped pineapple on the floor and she was like, oh, girl, you dropped pineapple or something. She, like, says really. I walked in, she says really. I didn't realize everyone was following me in here. I was like, I don't trust her. She's so condescending. We need to make her fall in love with one of the guys. Make one of the guys, like, fall in love with her and then, like, boot them out. Yeah.
And before anybody says anything, yes, Big Brother, the whole grand scheme of the show is basically to scheme and lie your way through the competition. Yes, but that does not justify the fact that you bully people and you ostracize people and you literally isolate somebody in the house for no good reason. That doesn't give you the right to do that. There was one particular scene where Taylor was just, showing off some of her fabulous outfits that she had, because I guess that's just what she felt like doing. She was just being herself. And she was like parading around the house in her little cute outfit, talking about this is what I'm going to wear on finale night. Speaking it into existence, because the power is in the tongue, okay? So she's basically parading around the house in her outfit. And honey, they did not like that, honey, okay?
Could be wrong. I've never seen somebody put on a dress and say, this is my finale dress on day 3.
That's crazy. She had like a real nice dress, nice fitting. Look.
Yeah, she looks amazing.
She looks good. And she comes out and like starts flaunting around with it. And she tells everybody, oh, this is my, finale dress. Like, this is what I'm coming, like my final 2 dress pretty much.
She said that out loud?
Yeah, bro. And it was just like.
That's aggressive.
I was like, wow. I think just that connection to how that comes off to people, I think is just missing for her.
Yeah.
And I think there's been a lot of examples of that I've seen, and especially like for a strong black woman who is, doing her thing in life. Like, it is nowhere near personal.
They got to gossiping. Even the men in the house were gossiping about her, like some females. Okay. So to add insult to injury, the drama first started with, of course, y'all already know who, Paloma. Okay, so rewind back to the scene that I showed y'all of when Taylor was playing pool with the men in the backyard and all the women were in the pool with their faces turned up, all mad because she was socializing with the men, right? Later on, Taylor had walked in on a meeting that the Girls Girl Alliance was having with every single girl in the house but Taylor, right? So Taylor walked in there and she's thinking like, oh my gosh, girl power, girl power. So she's just like, listening to, their game talk that they were doing, right? So mind you, it's literally like they literally just got there. So everybody's just trying to make alliances and get in where they fit in, right?
Every room. I want to know what's going on with the boy.
I mean, like, they're all together. I always want to play a female forward game, but it just doesn't make sense to make those boundaries so early on.
I wanted to, kind of talk game, but they're so, surface. Like, you've been talking to the guys a lot. What's your intel?
I wish I had some.
I can't trust her whatsoever. Oh,
let me go change. My stuff is still out.
So Paloma was basically the ringleader of all of this. So she made it her business to say that she wanted to target one of the men because she felt like the men were all going to team up together. So it's going to be like girls versus boys in the house, right? Mind you, Taylor is nowhere near aware of this alliance because they did not include her. So naturally, she had already developed a relationship with some of the men in the house. So later on, she had went over and had a conversation with another castmate by the name of Monty. And Monty was just, trying to talk game with her. Okay, so
I'm not gonna want to see anybody go. It's like, you have no idea what's going on with backstage. I would want to think about who's going up instead.
Yeah, because I don't know where his head would be at. You talk to Paloma.
Yeah, she's terrified that you four boys together coming for the girls.
Damn.
Hearing Taylor say that Paloma is worried about the four guys going after the girls really doesn't sit well with me, because Paloma, she's been pretty tight with me since the porta potty competition. I'm not really sure if I believe it, but it's something I definitely want to look into.
Sorry, Taylor. She starts talking blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, oh, just to let you know, Paloma, she's really going for, like, the big dogs in the house. Like, she wants the alpha male.
That's a big lie. I want to know what's going on with the boys. They're so close, we need to split them up.
I'm going to try and ruin my game. That's not going to fly with me. I'm going to take matters into my own hands and make sure everyone knows the truth.
I feel like she's always watching. She's always watching.
A lot of people say that. She's all out of it. Like, she can be a snake in the garden. And the thing is, she will stab you from the back and make you a turkey club sandwich. I'm a girls, and I love strong women. Like, we play a similar game, but I'm playing it better.
It's definitely hard to know who to believe in this game sometimes, but I'm watching Paloma and she is devastated and she is denying these allegations with her entire soul.
Personality just rubs people the wrong way, and she lacks most of all self-awareness. At the end of the day, like, I think we need to get her out.
So Monty, he was just trying to talk game with her or whatever. So he was like, yo, like, what's going through your head? Like, what's everybody thinking in the house? What have you heard so far? So naturally, Taylor was like, yeah, Paloma, she thinks that it's going to be like girls versus boys, because she thinks that y'all are going to automatically off rip try to get all the girls out the house. But I was, trying to tell her that, it's too early to tell. So Monty, being the zesty man that he is, Monty, being the only fully black man in the house besides Terrence, okay? And we're going to get into Terrence later, okay? Because I got a bone to pick with him. But Monty went over to run that information back to Paloma, basically telling Paloma that Taylor said that she was coming after him. So, of course, Paloma started freaking out, and she wanted to have a reason to be mad with Taylor. So she spazzed and was like, she's lying. She's a B word. She's spreading rumors. I never said that. She's trying to stir up trouble in the house.
Have you had conversations with Taylor? Like game talk and all that sort of stuff?
Very little. It's bad that Taylor lied in this situation. A lie in this house could end somebody's game. Having a player who communicates misinformation could be very detrimental to everybody's game, because it creates a lot of suspicion, creates a lot of mistrust.
And that's literally Paloma went to every single person in the house and told them this information. Stirring the pot. So now everybody in the house think that Taylor is instigating stuff, and she's, spreading lies in the house when she did not tell not one lie. So that's basically how, from the beginning, the whole house got turned against her. Okay. So then, y'all, the first competition of the summer, right? This guy by the name of Daniel, who he turns out to be the biggest bully of them all. Okay. He was the one doing the absolute most. Like, he really had a vendetta against Taylor, and to this day I still really don't understand why he was so mad and so angry towards Taylor, and he was acting the way that he was acting. But he ended up being the first HOH, which is the first head of household of the summer. So the first week of the summer, he had all the power in his hands, and he was able to have the ability to nominate the 2 house guests who could possibly go home. So who do you think he put on the block? I'll wait. Taylor. Of course he put her on the block. And you know what? I just want to pause right here to say the fact that this man had all the power the first week, and Taylor was on the block the first week. Is basically powerless, and she was at the mercy of everybody else in the house, right? And Daniel was the one who bullied her throughout the competition, which we're going to get into that later. Let me tell y'all something. Listen, one thing about God's word is that he tells no lies, okay? Matthew chapter 20 verse 16 says, "So those who are last will now be first, and those who are first will now be last." And the fact that Taylor was on the block at risk of going home the very first week in the competition, okay? And this man who bullied her until it was time for him to go was in control, was the winner the first week, and was able to nominate who went home. Listen. Need I say more? Whoever is first will be last, and whoever is last will be first. Okay? So despite all the rumors that were being spread around the house,
Monty is like, I'm onto her. I know she's lying, and we need Daniel to know that she's just a lying bitch. So she's trying to like go. I'm not even afraid of her because she's rubbed so many people the wrong way.
Have you two had any conversation?
Bro, I've tried to be compassionate towards her. She's such a bitch to me. She has not talked to any of the girls. And this is her last final straw to try to like save herself. Because I think she feels like she's about to be like put up or something.
The whole situation frustrates me because there's part of me that doesn't believe that 100% of it is true. But a consensus of the house is that they have an issue with her.
You can talk to all the girls about it. The girls are pissed. I have nothing to lie about in this game. Like, I love you guys. I'm like sick of it.
Footage is there. How do you think you're gonna get away with telling me a lie?
Pieces of the story that just doesn't seem like something that somebody's lying on somebody. It's kind of like playing telephone, but I also have to think of my end game. And if we need to please the house to protect ourselves, then that's what's gonna have to happen.
And it kills me as a black man to do this because from my perspective, I know from my community, I'm sure they would have loved to see as many black folks stay in this house as possible and me even possibly work with Taylor. And I would have loved that too, but I now am forced to not do that anymore.
Not only from Paloma, but also from Monty, who is another black man in the house. He made it clear in the beginning that he was on Paloma's side, which we all wonder why. You know how them preferences are. I don't know what it is about black men and their preferences, but listen, they head be gone, okay? But listen, y'all. So Monty made it his job to make it clear to everybody in the house that Taylor was lying and Paloma was not lying. And everybody was believing what Monty was saying. Monty was the one going around telling everybody as well what happened. So Taylor was just sitting here like confused because she's like, what did I do again? And nobody is defending her. Nobody at all.
I can't believe I'm in this position.
I know, but you have decisions to make and you gotta go through a process.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I want to make sure that he's not considering me as a replacement nom and that other people aren't mentioning my name.
Do you have names in the back of your head? Are people giving you names or are they being cagey?
They'll bounce around. Yeah, that person I guess kind of, I don't really necessarily vibe with, but like, I don't want to say names right now, but like.
Honestly, this question kind of catches me off guard, but I do want to let her know some people have been talking about her so that if I do put her up on the block, it won't be a complete surprise.
I think socially, like they feel, one or two or whatever, was like, they wish they could get to know you more.
Sure.
I felt the same way. We're finally like getting there. But I think if that's how they really feel or they're just hiding stuff, you know what I'm saying?
I get it.
Daniel tells me people are saying my name in the HOH room. That's not good. He's saying that people feel like they aren't connecting with me. I'm not shocked, and that's something I've always gotten in my life. I kind of feel like I'm very closed off for the most part, but I feel like I'm on the outside of this house when I thought I was on the inside maybe 30 minutes ago. Now I'm nervous that I'm gonna be the one that's ending up on the block. It's really overwhelming. I feel like I got hit by a Mack truck. I feel like I'm at my wit's end and I just gotta let it all out right now.
So not only were they making comments, parading her around the house, trying to make it seem like she was trying to seduce her way and try to seduce all the men and lure all the men in so that they will be on her side, Taylor made it clear that coming into this competition, she wanted to prove to everybody that a woman has way more to offer than just her physical beauty. She made it clear from the beginning that she planned on leaving with that $750K, okay? So she set her intentions and she made it clear. Throughout the competition, Taylor really stood on her values and her morals and her beliefs. And she definitely proved, despite what everybody else thought in the house, she was definitely a girl's girl.
Historic victory. And not only did you win, but you did it in such a powerful way. Tell us how so.
Well, it's no secret that I was bullied and harassed and verbally abused in the house from my early days, and it was very difficult. It was very easy to consider leaving the house. And there was a point, I haven't actually said this out loud, but I considered throwing a comp wood stack so that I would sit on the block and be voted out because it was so unbearable.
Really? Wow.
Yes. But it came down to me realizing that I joined the game for a larger purpose, and I'd seen black women come into this game and be bullied and harassed, and I wanted to be the person that would carry that weight so that black women wouldn't have to do that ever again in this game.
Even when she had all the power in her hands, she made it clear that she refused to be the reason why another black woman in the house went home.
Things haven't been easy between me and Jasmine. She used me as a pawn when she was the first female HOH, but I came into this game to make sure that I wouldn't be targeting another black woman. So Jasmine is not on my radar.
There were only a few other black women in the house, but of course, they looked more racially ambiguous than Taylor did. So Taylor had made it clear, even though these women did not even like her for real, that she would not be responsible for sending another black woman home. So she always made decisions based off character, and she always made good, solid decisions in the house and tried to really make it her job to build solid relationships. So ever since the Paloma and Monty incident happened, it was everybody's vendetta to try to get Taylor out the house. So anytime it was time to nominate somebody, she was the first person thought of to nominate, because everybody was just like stereotyping her like, wow, we got to get her out the house because she's going to be stirring up drama. She's going to be stirring up trouble. She's going to be loud. She's going to be basically acting ghetto up in here, cussing everybody out, acting a fool like they expect us to be, right?
The minute I saw her, I knew it was going to be bad news.
You know she's going to explode when that week happens, where she goes home, and that's going to make people not want to do her because you're like, yo, I don't want to deal with the headache. I also think she's going to show more of her true colors. Whoever puts her up is going to be loud. Loud. She's going to lose people.
Homegirl's going to like flip the fuck
right?
out if
She'll
you put her
out
on
me
the
for the
block.
whole season, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like she scares the shit out of me, honestly. And she scares the shit out of everyone.
I would live and die for my friends. My friends just don't understand how much life they breathe into me.
What if she's like a psycho and that like crying act was like, and then she like wipes her tears and is like what if she's like it's so sad. You guys, but I could see her going in the diary room and being like, I put on a great show.
I'm not gonna lie, I think she is a great actress. I'm not gonna lie.
What? Remember I asked her what her talent was? Maybe it was acting.
If anyone pawned me or put me on the block and I'm still here, like if you think Dale's scary, I'm so much worse.
I know people like her, and if it's similar experiences, someone like that, as you guys probably know too, is only going to try to stir up more shit on purpose. Exactly. And like, you can't just laugh it off or walk away, or like us just chilling here with it locked, and she has the house to herself. She thinks she's the fucking queen of the season. Let her have that 2 days of bullshit.
He's like, I don't think they would put up 2 black people though, right? And I'm like, yeah, actually, it's happening.
It's gonna be bad. I'm not excited for it.
So each and every time she was placed on the block, she handled it with grace. She never once did she raise her voice or go off or curse at anyone in the game. Throughout the whole first half of the competition, Taylor had a target on her back. Not only was they accusing her of being a major B word, they also accused her of being a seductress. And then they wanted to try to say that she was going to be the angry black woman every time she got nominated. Her house guests even went as far to say, yeah, you better be careful because when you nominate her, she's going to lose it. She's going to flip out. And everybody was just so scared of this rage that she never once showed any signs of.
Placement nominee is Taylor. Personally, it's been hard to open up sometimes between me and you about game and life, but generally don't have a problem with you. It has come to my attention, though, that you've been rubbing the house the wrong way a little bit. And what's good for the house is good for my long-term game. So you're in the position now where you can rally for votes and maybe even apologize for some things you've said in this house.
There's like a million things to say. Oh, Daniel, how could you? I get you don't want to ruffle feathers in the house when you're first HOH, but you could have been one of the few guys that I would take far in my game.
And even when she showed signs of vulnerability, when she was breaking down and she was crying in certain instances, they even tried to flip that around and say that she was psycho and that it was an act the way she was crying. This literally just is a real life example of how unprotected Black women are, and how no matter how right or how great Black women try to act, they still are going to try to spin the narrative on us. Okay? It's like damned if we do, damned if we don't. So y'all, I forgot to mention, of course, after that, she was very much emotional and basically humiliated in front of everybody. So when everybody saw how upset she was after everybody was making her out to be the angry Black woman who is going to be so pissed off if she was to get nominated, now fake behind Paloma,
Because everyone fucking hates her, honestly. Everyone fucking hates her.
wanted to come up and basically apologize to her and try to make it seem like she never had a problem with her.
People fucking hate me. I was like crying in the diary room day one. Like, I don't want people to fucking, I was like, because I'm sick of stereotypes. I'm sick of shaming people.
No shit talking, lacks self-awareness. That's it. Taylor, she lacks self-awareness. Oh, I have to go sleep next to a snake. If she was dumb enough to put herself in this situation, she's dumb enough to be convinced again.
Yeah. So even if you're sitting on your couch watching this, be cheering us on.
Good vibe. Nobody's a bad vibe. Like, I was
And
a bad vibe.
No, you weren't, because we realized that real quick. We realized it fast. At first, we're like, wait, what are these? I'm like, what are these? Like, commentaries.
Bro, are you not aware that, like, you come up across as, like, a fucking bitch? I don't even know if she means to be bitch, honestly.
Well, I know your heart. You don't think I know your heart? When you walked out and with your beautiful model walk.
My ass needs to go pageant walk to her.
I was like, I want her on my team, and then, but you weren't coming to me. You went straight upstairs to the boys, and I was like, damn, like, the girls were like, what's going on? Like, we like Taylor, but like, where is she? But keep fighting, okay? Seriously, I don't want there to be any animosity. Big Brother for 23 seasons has been about animosity and F that person. But no, like, all 16 of us are family, and that's what I realized real quick. I don't want anyone in this house to come out of here getting bullied, and we can't blame production, we can't blame...
Guys, it's Paloma from Big Brother 24. I am feeling much better since I left the house and self-evicted. I want to make it super clear that I self-evicted not because of Taylor or anyone else, but because of my mental health. Another thing I want to address, obviously, is the whole Taylor drama, because frankly, I am so sick of people on Twitter making assumptions about who I am without actually hearing me out. So it's as simple as this. I was in the house bullied by Taylor. I'm in the shower washing my hair and she makes a comment and makes fun of how I look in the shower, right? Or I drop a piece of pineapple and there's a condescending comment that happened, right? So what does someone do when they're bullied? They clap back, right? And it's not taking the high road. It's not, being the nicest person. I had moments in there where I definitely was not nice at all. And I do apologize for that. But I'm not a perfect human being and I'm ready to take accountability for that. Was it a matter of race or me being a racist? Absolutely not. Was it a matter of Paloma being bullied and it not being shown on camera? Yeah, that for sure happened. Did Taylor and I get past that and become friends? Absolutely. But I'm here to tell you that the media and the show a lot of times doesn't portray what the truth is. They want to portray what's entertaining. And like, how can you blame them? How can you blame them? But it's at a cost, and it's at the expense of my mental health. It's at the expense of me and my character, and it's at the expense of my well-being, truthfully. So I'm here to tell my truth and take it for what it will be. But you can believe it, you cannot believe it. At this point though, I don't really care. I'm here to just tell my truth for my clarity and my closure.
Okay, girl, bye. Bye. So after all of the drama, okay, all of the commotion, Paloma ended up self-evicting herself week 2 of the competition. Now, they say that she evicted herself because of mental health issues, which they tried to still blame that on Taylor, even though Taylor never once got to arguing with this girl, never once said anything crazy to this girl. This girl literally had a vendetta, an agenda against Taylor since the moment she got in the house, right? So she ended up getting too overwhelmed with the process and she self-evicted herself. So she was good as gone the second week. So Taylor ended up being nominated that second week. So check this out, y'all. The second week comes and Taylor ends up getting nominated again. And it's crazy because she was nominated by another black woman in the house. And Taylor had said to herself when she got the opportunity to have power that she would never nominate a black woman.
I came into this game to make sure that I wouldn't be targeting another black woman.
Even though she had already been nominated by a black woman already in the competition, right? So Taylor was on the block once again, and then Paloma ended up self-evicting, which eliminated the need to have an eviction that night because somebody had already went home. So by the grace of God, since Paloma decided to take herself out of the competition, it saved Taylor because she probably would have went home that night. But being that Paloma had left, she was able to stay to play the game another day. So fast forward, y'all, to week 3 in the game, right? Week 3 in the game, they had announced this twist to where the house guests had to pair up with another bestie, and basically they would have to play the game in pairs. So if one bestie got nominated, then that means both besties went on the block, right? So Taylor had already been on the block twice at this point, and she ended up getting paired up with her bestie Nicole. So Nicole was fake as I don't know what. Okay, I'm just be real with you. Nicole was fake as I don't know what. She could not stand Taylor's guts. She hated this girl's guts. And for this to be an older woman, you would think she would be a little bit more mature and have a little bit more mind of her own and be able to not be easily persuaded by other people in the house.
There are pieces of the story that just doesn't seem like something that somebody's lying on somebody. It's kind of like playing telephone, but I also have to think of my end game. And if we need to please the house to protect ourselves, then that's what's gonna have to happen.
But it seemed like she was more of a follower than a leader, even though she constantly bragged about how she's a police officer and she knows when people are lying. And
I've been trained to know when somebody is lying to me. Such a horrible liar. I can't. It's so funny.
Whatever. Clearly that didn't work to the best of her ability because she ended up going home shortly after. But before we get into that, she treated Taylor like, you know, in front of Taylor's face, she acted all nice to her because they were besties. But the whole time, she wanted to be besties with her.
Damn. Nicole, you've been eliminated. Would you like to choose a festy bestie or take a seat at an empty table?
I'll take a seat with a festy bestie. I'm choosing Taylor as my festy bestie because she's been a target for the last couple weeks. I can guarantee my safety if I sit next to her on the block.
Nicole's my festy bestie, and I couldn't be happier. It's no secret that my social game has needed help, and hers is at A+, top of the mountain, #1 point.
She continuously offered herself as a sacrifice to go on the block because everybody was trying to get Taylor out the house. So since Nicole was paired up with Taylor, and if Taylor went on the block, that means Nicole went on the block. Nicole's like, pick me, put me on the block so we can vote Taylor out the house because she's rubbing everybody the wrong way and her energy is off and I can't stand her. For whatever reason, Nicole and Taylor ended up on the block, and they had an opportunity to play in a veto competition to basically win the power of veto to take themselves off of the block, and the HOH would have to replace them with another pair of besties, right? In this veto competition, if Taylor and Nicole would win the competition, then that means that they would come down off of the block and be safe from elimination. So Nicole was so thirsty, y'all, to have Taylor go home that she made it clear And she made an agreement that she would throw the competition, basically lose the competition on purpose so that they wouldn't be safe from elimination that week. So they proceeded to go into the veto competition, and Nicole, being such a great competitive person as she claims herself to be, she had to throw this competition, right? So they ended up losing the competition because of Nicole. After the fact, Nicole felt terrible. She was in her feelings because basically she ended up sabotaging her own stats in the game and losing a competition just to try to spite somebody else, okay? And what does that saying goes? Don't cut off your left hand to spite your right. You know what I'm saying? So just to spite Taylor and to try to get Taylor out the house, she threw this competition.
Something happened with Nicole. I think so.
She is affecting my game.
I know that, and that bothers me.
Has she talked to anybody?
Nicole and I are pretty much connected with every single person in this house except for Taylor. So it makes sense to remove Taylor now in order for Nicole and I to move forward in our final two.
I know what I need to do. Period. Like, in order for me to move forward in this game, I need to get rid of her.
Yes.
She is a tough competitor. She is a strong player.
No more further questions.
She's just a threat to all of our games.
I don't see her as a good person.
I know. I don't see her as a good person either. She's a loose cannon.
After the competition, she was just in shambles, honey, okay? She was crying, laying in the bed, wallowing around in pity because she was mad because she had to throw a competition and she's such a great competitor, according to her. And she feels like it makes her look like she can't compete because she threw the competition, right? So she's laying in bed crying and everybody's trying to console her. And she's not really coming out telling people exactly why she's upset, right? So Taylor, thinking like, oh, you know, I'm partnered up with this lady. You know, this is my festy bestie right now. So, you know, me and her have to have some type of relationship. So Taylor, being the sweet person that she is, tries to go talk to her and console her. And basically, you know, tell her, hey, you know, you got it. Like, you don't got to always be so on go all the time. You know, just take it easy. Just chill out. It's okay. We got this. Basically trying to encourage her. But, you know, what do messy people do? They twist people's words.
Would you mind saying a prayer? I just want her to be okay.
I don't know the details. She doesn't need to tell me the details. I know she's hurting. I just want her to understand that when I see her hurting, game doesn't matter to me. I just care about her well-being and whatever's best for her.
Hey, babe. Bessie. How are you? Good. Look, all I'm gonna say is, whatever you need to do at any point, do what's best for you. I appreciate you saying that. I know I'm here for the right reasons, and I know that I have to do what I have to do and fight. I'm a fighter, and I'm here to win. Just fight, fight, fight. If there's a point where you gotta tap out of the fight, don't even, because that's not even part of my vocabulary, so. I appreciate you saying those words, but that's not who I am. I'm just the type of person that when I feel like somebody is projecting their negative energy onto me or trying to come at me with passive-aggressive behavior, I know how to stand up for myself. I was a cop for 10 years. I am a fighter. I don't need somebody telling me to bow out. That's not who I am.
What negative energy, ma'am? You are the negative energy. What is you talking about? So Nicole took it upon herself to get an attitude saying that Taylor was trying to convince her to leave. Basically, what Taylor was trying to say was that she was sitting here crying and complaining, talking about oh, I gotta keep fighting. I gotta keep going, put on this whole act because she threw a competition. Okay, so she's like, oh, I gotta keep fighting. I gotta keep going. I can't let this get me down. And then Taylor was basically saying, like, you don't have to keep fighting your way through the competition. Like, just relax. That's literally what she was saying. But she took it as though she was insinuating that she should quit the competition, which makes no sense because they are a bestie pair. So why would she want her to leave the competition? Like, it just makes no sense. Okay, but listen, they was looking for reasons to hate Taylor because she was the most hated person in the house. So, you know, this was the perfect leeway into giving her more hate and ostracizing her even more. So Nicole, she was really close with Daniel. Okay, if y'all don't remember, Daniel was the one who was in power the very first week and the one who literally was bullying her the most in the house after Paloma left, right? I guess he took it upon himself to take over the reins of bullying, because since Paloma was gone, there was nobody else there left to really be the head captain of Team Bullying Taylor. He had to take on the role and assume his position, okay? So Nicole and Daniel grown to be really close in the house, okay? And Nicole decided to go run and tell Daniel about the conversation she had with Taylor, saying that Taylor was being passive aggressive and how she was telling her to quit and a whole bunch of lies, okay?
Okay, it's okay if you want to quit.
Who said that?
Taylor did.
Oh, beautiful. Done with her. I will not talk to her from here on out. She could off. Taylor's trying to manipulate and capitalize in this moment while Nicole's in a vulnerable state.
So this made Daniel furious, okay? He was fuming because of the information he received. Well, the misinformation rather. So he took it upon himself to go off on Taylor.
Just stop. From this point on, just stop.
With the lace?
No, with your fake.
I am a fake
Don't
bitch.
speak to me until finale.
You're bringing me to finale?
No, when you're sitting out there.
This guy hates me.
The same you did to Paloma, you're trying to do to her, you can right off. You don't think America's watching all that?
This is getting intense now.
You don't think so? From here on out, do not speak to me.
Y'all, and I was so weak at him talking about something. You can F off. You don't think America's watching all this? You don't think America's watching all of you, sir? Like, it just baffles me. It just baffles me because, you know, clear people, sometimes they swear up and down, okay? They swear up and down that people be on their side, okay? He is a Karen, okay? Because he's sitting here, you don't think America's watching all the things that you're doing? What is she doing? Everybody that's watching at home that has common sense is seeing that everybody in the house is bullying her and that she's not doing anything wrong. So we're not on your side, sir.
I feel like the internet must really love Taylor.
I think.
You think?
100%.
And the thing about this that just makes me so mad is because when he was going off on her, which was totally inappropriate, everybody was just standing around and just watching. Nobody was like, hey, yo, chill out, dude. Even Nicole, the one who has the problem with her, okay, she should be the one confronting her, if anything, if what Taylor said bothered her so much. But you can see her in the clips walking away, acting unbothered, throwing a stone and hiding her hand like, She's nowhere to be found in the fight, okay? Everybody's just standing around watching Taylor get bullied and cursed out by this crazy man. And nobody is standing up for her at all. Everybody's just sitting and watching because they don't want to mess up their game by stepping in and saying like, yo, this is wrong. And at this point, Daniel has done nothing but go around the house, spend all of his time sleeping, and breathing Taylor, gossiping like a little gossip girl the whole entire time, consuming his whole experience around her, being a gossip girl, being messy, being a messy Melinda. Okay, so he literally was just waiting on any opportunity to say something to her. And the thing that gets me is that he gonna talk about
I know people like her, and if it's similar experiences, someone like that, as you guys probably know too, is only gonna try to stir up more shit on purpose.
Oh, I know people like her. You know, this is how they act. I've been around people like her before. Had the nerve to say that when he's the one acting crazy. He's the one getting up out of character. But that's neither here or there, because little did he know this little power move that he did turned the whole house against him. After he decided to publicly try to embarrass Taylor and curse her out with his little temper tantrum that he threw over a situation that had nothing to do with him, right? So after he decided to do this, it was blatant more than ever that she was really being bullied, okay? And it just baffles me too, because even the black men in the house were talking crap about her. Terrence had called her a hoe at one point. He also had called her B-word at one point. Check out this clip.
It's just that she feels like this is the first time she's tasted someone being in power and in her camp. So, and I understand that feeling, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it is what it is, but it's a way to do it as well, you know? So
it's funny because part of it I think is unawareness, and part of it I do think is like, conniving or strategic. But she pulls me aside and be like, I'm not even on the block. She goes, you know, I know how it feels to be on the block.
She said what?
She told me that.
She said,
I know how it feels to be on the block, so if you know, don't feel alone. I'm like, number one, I'm not on the block yet. Like, even if I am, I'm not on it yet.
Right.
And like, I think part of it is her just trying to get us out of my head, but it just doesn't work with me. Like, especially because we know who she is now. So I'm like, oh yeah, thanks. That's all I have. Thank you. Oh, if you stay, who's your target? No one really. Oh, cool. Oh yeah, thanks. Like, you can't get inside my head.
And yeah, and the part about it is she's trying so fucking hard, but then she doesn't realize, bitch, we don't need you. Just the whole state.
And not only did Terrence call her a B-word, but Monty, he was over here calling her a liar, saying that she rubbed him the wrong way, saying that she kind of had this aura about her that made it seem like she thought she was better than everybody else. So everybody was just sitting around kikiing and having conversations about Taylor.
I gotta be the one to point out that a black woman in this house is not acting right.
All right, fine, but you lied to me. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do.
She's like, I just need help. She's like, I'm trying really hard. And I know, like, I kind of didn't talk to the girls, and, like, the girls don't like me, but, like, I just need someone to help me get in with everybody. And I was like, oh, sorry, girl, you're going home.
Oh, bloody. What I'm trying to say with her is, like, a lot of people, especially a lot of the women, feel like she's really trying to, what is she trying to do? Like, she's desperate, is what they're trying to say.
That's what it looks like.
But my thing is like, a desperate person who wins HOH is a very scary thing, because you just don't know lie. Like, she deserves to be, like, put on blast in front of America for lying over and over again and thinking that she can lie.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get vindictive, but all I'm trying to say is that she doesn't deserve the satisfaction to know right now before she goes home to try to stir something up.
Yeah.
Like, and she'll probably try to stir something up anyway. It's the way that she did. And you know how she comes off, like, in a condescending way. And I'm like, I don't know if I can trust your vibe right now. But now, come to find out, if gross was a thing, that means that Taylor was telling the truth about that.
You want to hug me? Man, if you don't get the fuck out my face.
Only child. 1, 2. Never had no real friends.
Like, they're literally sitting up here pillow talking about this girl. Like, come on now. What happened to protecting our black queens? So a group of house guests got together. It was Kyle, Joseph, Monty, Michael, Brittany, Taylor, and Turner. Okay, so these 7 people all formed an alliance called the Leftovers, because basically they were just tired of the bullying in the house, so they took it upon themselves to band together. All 7 of these people formed an alliance in the house because basically they wanted to protect Taylor at this point and get everybody else out of the house, because everybody else was just literally about drama. And the thing that gets me is that Monty was in this group when Monty was the main one stirring up drama the first week, but whatever. We're gonna get into Monty a little bit later, okay? So basically the Leftovers alliance was formed, and they all teamed up in order to protect each other in the game. So finally, Taylor found a place to call home for now in the game to get her to the point where she was at in the final 2. Okay, so in this alliance, it was unbeknownst to the other people in the house, including Nicole, who was her festy bestie. So Nicole still had this huge vendetta against Taylor, and she was basically bargaining with the head of household. So after they banded together and built this alliance, Turner had basically made a speech to the house, and he was literally the only one to speak up for Taylor and say, like, listen, all of y'all keep targeting one person in this house. Y'all need to chill out. It's not cool. Y'all need to stop bullying. In so many words, okay? And he kind of like turned the tables when he said that.
Since Michael and Brittany have vetoed my nominations for eviction, I will name a new set of Festy Besties as replacement nominees. Simultaneously, I know this might come as a surprise to a lot of you. There was clearly one target this house had, but I don't feel like that's best for my game, and I really don't want to add to the dog pile I feel like is going on in this house. And I'm sorry about that. Behind closed doors, a lot of you say some crazy things about individuals. And I really don't want to draw a line in the sand with saying this, but as the youngest one in this house, I don't feel like I should be the one to say that it's not okay. But here I am.
So fast forward to the next week, okay, and Monty ends up being head of household. So since he is in an alliance with Taylor, that keeps her off of his radar, basically. He's not going to try to send her home, right? So basically, he had his target set on 2 other people in the house, which is who he nominated, right? So when he nominated them, Daniel, with his smart self, he ended up winning the power of veto. So when you win the power of veto, you get to save somebody from the block, basically. So he decided to take whoever was down on the block at the time so that Monty could nominate Taylor and Nicole, thinking that Taylor would finally get voted out.
I have the numbers to stay. Taylor will be going home. God, he's such a horrible liar. I can't. It's so funny.
I'm in shock a little bit, so.
But little did he know, Taylor was in an alliance with Monty, and the alliance was the majority of the house at that point. So the votes were gonna be to keep Taylor regardless, because all the people who were voting were in the leftover alliance and they were planning to keep Taylor.
I'm not going nowhere.
So ultimately, Nicole trying to act out of spite and Daniel trying to act out of spite, they ended up getting themselves sent packing, basically. So that literally just goes to show you that God is always one step ahead of you. The enemy might think that he got his hand on something. He might think that he got some good tricks up his sleeve. But God, my God, he is an all-knowing God, and God don't got no limits, okay? God is always one step ahead of the devil. 10 steps, 1,000 steps ahead of the devil, okay? Evil does not work. That's why you must keep the faith. I'm telling y'all, this story is just so mind-boggling to me. It's just mind-boggling to me, okay? Because these people really thought that they were being smarter, and they really thought that they were out-tricking the trickster, okay? They really thought that they was doing something. Daniel ended up getting his closest ally in the house sent home. And the thing that trips me out is that Nicole actually thought that she had the votes to stay in the house. So that's why she was so confident on throwing the veto competition. That's why she was so confident on being on the block, because she assumed that everybody in the house still hated Taylor, when actuality, when her little friend cursed Taylor out in front of everybody, that's when the tables turned, okay? Woo, child. Like, listen, praise God, because this story right here, y'all, like, listen, if you are ever going through something, if you feel like the whole world is against you, if you feel like your back is against the wall, just know that God got you, okay? He got you. Just keep the faith, because he will turn things around in your favor, and you will never know the how, or you will never know the when, but just know that he is coming to save you, okay? God got you, sis. All right? So let's continue. Okay, so some of you might not know that last season there was a big alliance called the Cookout, right? So the Cookout was basically off of the 6 black people that were in the house. They all decided very early on that they were going to stick together and be in this secret alliance that nobody else knew except for them, that they were in, to make sure that the winner of Big Brother was an African American person. So they were able to navigate their way through the game and get everybody else out the house, so that the last 6 people standing were people of color. So there was a lot of controversy over the cookout because a lot of people were saying that if it was the other way around, then it would be deemed as racist. But honestly, if you want me to be truly honest with you, I personally don't think that black people can be racist, because racist is something that was used against, that has always been used against people of color. Racism rarely ever occurs or is weaponized against white people. It's always used against people of color. So I find it impossible for a person of color to be racist when it's white people who invented racism in the first place, if that makes sense. So basically, it was some controversy over it because people were saying, oh, if the shoe's on the other foot, then that would be considered racist, and whatever. But it's like, when will y'all understand that y'all cannot do what we do? When y'all decided to chain us up and whip and beat us and pay us less money and judge us by the color of our skin and basically racially profile us, that's when y'all forfeited y'all option to have equality when it comes to racism. Like, this is our thing. Okay, let us have this. Okay, y'all have everything else. Let us have this. And not to mention Big Brother, in the history of Big Brother, I don't think there's only been 2 black people to ever win. I'm about to look that up. But in the history of all 24 seasons of Big Brother, there have only been 2 black people to win. And that includes last season with the cookout, Xavier, and that includes this season with Taylor. So out of all the regular seasons, there have always been white people winning. So as soon as black people decide to band together and change the narrative and take over the force of the game, because let me tell you one thing, when black people decide to get something done, they get it done. Okay, period. So when black people decided to band together and and stick by each other and make sure everybody makes it to the end, it was a problem. And people didn't like that. So being that was just last season, Kyle, one of the members of the Leftovers, he was feeling some type of way because I guess he felt like he was one of the members who were kind of on the outskirts of the Leftovers, and he knew that when it got down to just their alliance, he would be one of the first to go. So he decided to bring to some other house guests' attention that there could possibly be another cookout alliance because of the fact that the black people in the house were close with each other.
I can't get over the fact that Joseph, Monty, and Taylor have extremely strong connections with Indy, Terrence, and Jasmine. I mean, it looks very similar to the cookout.
So let me tell y'all, okay, this is why this season is so juicy, because you could just see how much of flip-floppers people are and how easily people were turning on each other, okay? Because people was flipping on each other like some burgers on a grill, okay? Listen. So, y'all, when things got hot in the house amongst some of the white players, they decided to bring to the black peoples in the house attention that Kyle had made an assumption that there was a cookout alliance. And boy, did this stir up some controversy in the house, because they wasn't really feeling that, because they were like, so you're just going to assume that just because we're black that we developed this alliance with each other, being that throughout the competition they have showed themselves to constantly, be multidimensional, basically. So I will say that throughout the whole season, the black people who were in the house, they did mix and mingle and build alliances and build connections with other people who weren't black in the house. So I guess they didn't appreciate the fact that Kyle tried to box them in and try to assume that they only wanted to support other black people, when they have constantly proved throughout the whole entire game that they were treating everybody the same and that they were just playing the game like everybody else does. So it's just like black people are always being accused of doing something when they're not doing it, right? So that was basically why they were just so upset by it. So they basically sat down and they had a house meeting. They basically sat down. So then after all of this, they sat down and they had a house meeting to address everything that was going on.
So when looking at the group of 7, I didn't know where I stood with you. I mean, for me, like, the thought that a possible cookout situation could happen was Taylor expressing that she wouldn't want to put up Jasmine because a strong black woman. You guys know I'm kind of a naive person. I've been living in a bubble. I've never been to a bar. Like, I don't have these life experiences. I have these unconscious biases, which I do acknowledge now. If you had sat me down in a room and just explained it.
I'm not going to hate you as a person or paint you out as a intentional villain, racist, etc., etc. One thing I will say is that as a black woman in this world, I don't get the chance or opportunity, privilege, if you will, to be sat down and walk through these things. I want you to understand that I can love you and accept you as a person, but we can also hold you accountable for unconscious things that have happened.
And you know what? I really, really, really love Taylor's response to this whole situation. Okay, this is just another example of how eloquent and well-spoken she is, and how fair and nurturing and loving that she is, no matter how wrong that she has done. Because even in this situation right here, she still is not chastising him. She's not talking down on him. She's just simply explaining to him, like, hey, listen, like, if this was me in this situation, I wouldn't even have the chance to explain myself to you, because right off the rip, you know, I'll be thrown into the fire. You know, she's been going through this the whole game. She's been thrown into the fire the whole entire game. Okay? And she was saying if the shoe was on the other foot, she wouldn't even have a chance to sit down and have a conversation and be able to be like, you know, this is where I was coming from. She'll automatically be hit with assumptions and be stereotyped as an angry, racist black lady. Just love her response to this. That just goes to show how forgiving and how she really truly does have a kind heart. And it's a difference between being nice and being kind, because a lot of people in the house were being nice, but she truly was the only person in the house that I would say that was truly and genuinely kind to everyone. And that's why she won. The type of person Taylor is, she seems like she has a servant's heart, okay? Because no matter how bad that she was treated in the house, no matter how much people talked down on her, she always gave them the opportunity to come and talk to her and for them to talk it out. She never once jumped to conclusions with anybody, went off on anybody. She always decided to solve her problems with words, by being patient, by being calm, and by being understanding. So she deserves this win more than anything, which it really frustrates me, which we're going to get into that later, how people are saying that she didn't deserve to win, when I really felt like she really did deserve to win, because the way that she handled all the adversity that was thrown at her was just, it was perfect. It was perfect. All right, y'all. So getting into this little showmance between Monty and Taylor, I don't know, I felt some type of way about it at first, because Monty was really being a little messy Monty, going around talking crap about Taylor the whole first half of the game. And now that there's nobody left in the house, now all of a sudden you want to be all up on Taylor, and you're so into her, and you know, want to be affectionate towards her. Like, what happened to that at the beginning when you said that you believed Paloma over Taylor? Where was this energy at then? Where was this energy when you was pillow talking about Taylor with another black man in the house, Terrence? Where was this energy at then? You know, so I'm like, what's up with the change of heart? You know what I'm saying? That's why I personally just feel like he switched up, because it was getting towards the end of the game and he needed to reel more people in closer so that he could have a better chance of winning. That's ultimately what I think happened. But yeah, let's get into more details of the showman.
Can I ask a special request?
You want me to get your back?
Yeah, but
I'll do it, don't worry.
So if this could be scheduled every time I go to the pool.
Okay, it's not, look, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, okay?
Well, listen, here's the reality. Turner's in a loving relationship. Brittany's married. Alyssa had her showmance with Kyle. Process of elimination, I just have to ask Taylor to rub the part of my back that I could not reach to make sure that it's moisturized.
Like, how am I supposed to do this at home? You know what I mean?
That's what partners are for.
I will say, that I do enjoy the experience.
So Monty has been a close friend of mine throughout this entire game. He's always had a great presence and a really great body, but it's starting to stand out just a little bit more now. I always found Monty physically attractive, but I just never really knew where his intentions were. And you gotta be really clear and straightforward with me.
Taylor is obviously a very attractive woman, but I was very focused coming into this house, making sure that game was all that I was thinking about. Then naturally, we begin talking, having more conversations with each other, and we built quite the connection.
So they started kicking it or whatever, and you already know it wasn't long before he got the draws. So they was just, having a frenzy, just, doing whatever, doing what young people do, okay? So they was doing all that in the house, and Taylor already knew in her mind that this man was not good for her, but she was bored and lonely, and he was a warm body. Same case scenario. So they just kind of just hooked up with each other to kind of make the time go by in the house. So of course, good things don't never last forever, because it wasn't long before there was trouble in paradise. So basically, Monty got upset because of an incident over some headphones.
Give me those. Sam, not both. Not both. Taylor. I didn't mean to take the sunglasses. Sorry. That's
Holy moly.
That is a way to wake up. My bad. Go back to sleep. My music. You feel like disrespectful. All up in my room, taking my music, falling asleep. Get your own bed.
Get some good.
So being the sassy man that he is, instead of him just telling Taylor how he felt right in that moment, he decided to go to Turner and tell Turner how he felt about Taylor, basically saying, I'm done with her, she is just on a power trip right now. I'm not feeling her like that. This is not somebody I can see myself spending the rest of my life with. All over some Beyonce and some headphones.
Rest up there, man?
Yeah, I was dreaming and everything. How about you?
Oh, it was good, up until that moment where Taylor decided it had to end.
Yeah, I saw that. She goes, take these fucking headphones off. I was like, whoa.
If I were to explain how I actually felt, it might get pretty ugly. Now, I come out here and I see you're outside. It's not even like you're listening to the music anymore.
I know.
It was just because you just wanted to be on a power trip of some sort,
Yep.
oh no, even Brittany came down and said the same thing. It was like, oh, that was a little bit much. The attraction was there, and we acted upon it, you know what I mean? So that was cool. And ever since then, it's been cool to sort of both have the HOH room and
totally
do that sort of thing. Stuff like today makes me realize that did I feel like it was with the person that I'm going to be with the rest of my life? To be honest with you, that's a no.
And excuse if y'all hear them cutting the grass. Of course, they would have to cut the grass right now. So if y'all hear that in the background, I hope it's not too loud. Now Monty has an attitude with Taylor. So he proceeds to walk around the house with his panties in a wad. And he's not talking to her. He's blatantly ignoring her for no reason. So once again, Taylor is being ostracized. Good and well, he heard her tell him good morning. And he just gonna walk right past her and act like he ain't hear her. Just rude. Once again, what else is new? So eventually Monty does put his big boy pants on and goes to have a conversation with Taylor and basically tell her why he felt some type of way.
Hey. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm cool. I'm chilling. I'm not gonna lie, I did want to talk to you about something that happened earlier between the two of us. It was when me, you, and Turner were in here. And I brought up my goddaughter, and this is the first time that I've been able to see somebody go from birth to being 1 year old.
And I was like, well, no, you haven't.
Yeah.
God, I feel awful. I did not mean to say no, you haven't been present for this person. No, you don't love or care for this person. I was just saying oh no, it's really been 9 months because of where we are. We are cut off from the world. I'm
But
sorry.
you see how that could be a very
Yeah.
obvious sort of condescending statement.
Yeah.
And then shortly thereafter, in the middle of my nap, you take my headphones off. It was like some sort of power trip. I was pretty much just done with the day with you, to be honest. I'm just trying to understand, what is your intent? Can you explain that to me?
Yeah.
That was just rude. When people may have said that you rubbed them a wrong way, I think it came down to this cold sort of person that you were showing. That stuff today made me feel okay, this is not a person I want to spend more time with because I have a very low tolerance for like disrespect. It's like such a turnoff sometimes.
I get it.
Yeah, if you want to know just very directly, like when it comes to staying the night here and stuff, like I don't feel comfortable doing that.
For tonight, you need your space.
Yeah, exactly. So.
I get it.
I do not think it's fair that he is taking this persona that was pushed on me my first few weeks in this house with very weighted language that he knows really hurts. We are back to the Taylor is an insensitive bitch narrative. I got more important things to think about than my relationship with a guy. As a matter of fact, I've got 750,000 more important things to think about. Look, Vulnerable Taylor has been around for a few weeks, but now I might have to tag in Cold Taylor to make sure I get that bag home. Bitch of the season. That is me.
And that is what gets me. Like, he definitely knew that saying those things, making those accusations against her was going to hurt her feelings, because that's what she went through at the beginning of the game with everybody else in the house that was bullying her. So after he witnessed all this, after he participated in this, he witnessed this, then he turns around and want to be her friend, then he gets in her pants, then he gets mad at her again, and then accuses her of the very thing that they were accusing her of in the beginning. So I don't really think that this situation was healthy for her, but ultimately it did work out in her favor, because he did kind of have a soft spot for her in the end when he took her along with him to the final two.
I get it done. I came through.
And you know what really gets me is that he was just acting like this like a week before. And then now that he decided to take her to the final two with him, which he only took her because he felt like he could beat her.
Whereas with Taylor, I thought, you know, if we were looking at things very objectively from our game, I felt like I had more margin with her, but I completely underestimated her ability to communicate her journey throughout this entire summer, and how much it resonated, not only with the women in the jury, but also the men in the jury who saw that being a great representation of season 24, which completely proud of her, very impressed, and happy for her, because I said early on in the season, if I was going to lose somebody, I would love to lose to the first African-American woman of, a winner of Big Brother. So I think even before, things got hot and heavy with Taylor and I think I was thinking that sitting next to her would still be good for my game. I thought that things worked out perfectly with me being able to choose Turner to make that move, solidify things. But other things had to be taken into consideration, and I overlooked them. She communicated. I can only imagine how she walks up and speaks, in pageants, because what she did tonight was truly something to be, impressed by. And
let's be very clear, because if he felt like he would lose against her, he wouldn't have took her to the final two with him. But I digress. But yeah, that's what really gets me, because he wanted to act like her Lord and her Savior and her protector by coming in and taking her with him to the final two. But the whole time, he really only took her with him because he thought that he would be able to beat her. He thought that he would be able to get the votes of the previous house guests and that they would vote against her so that he can win the money. Because ain't no way in the world he would have sacrificed that $750K for some coochie, okay? But, that's what happens when you try to play the player, okay? That's what happens. Not saying that she a player, but she had the Lord on her side throughout the whole time. I really do honestly believe that from the moment she auditioned to be on the show, that it was destined for her to win, because everything just happened, just was laid out for her so perfectly. The journey was not perfect. The road was not straight and smooth and narrow, but the way things were happening and moving out of her way, things were clearing out her path. The way the Lord cleared her path out for her. Okay? I really think that it was destined for her to win, to be honest with you, because everything just happened just exactly the way it should have happened. Everything always worked out in her favor throughout the whole entire game. I kind of was in my feelings a little bit, because I'm like, girl, like, don't be giving him none of the goods or whatever after he didn't talk trash about you. But she did not know this. When she goes back and rewatches the show, she will see what was the real. But she don't want that man in real life. She was just bored. But anyways, so basically she developed this showmance with Monty. He was being wishy-washy, but in the end she still kept her head held up high and continued to go on throughout the competition. So now it's the final 4 people left, and it's time to compete for head of household, and whoever wins head of household is guaranteed to be in the final 3. So this is what I mean by everything just fell perfectly into place. So this competition, in order to get to the final 3, the competition was a fashion frenzy competition. So basically you had to watch a video of the host of Big Brother in all her different outfits, and they had to try to answer the questions correctly based on their memory. So you already know Taylor had this in the bag. When I was watching this, I was like, oh, she about to win this competition because this is right up her alley. Okay, this is right up her alley. And of course she came out and she pulled through with the win, and she solidified her place in the final 3 so that she can potentially go on to win the $750K. And before I move on from here, a lot of people were saying that the show is rigged and they picked that competition on purpose because they knew she would win it. And my whole thing is, so what if they did? This was still an act of God, okay? Regardless of if the producers or whoever was behind the scenes, regardless of any of that, regardless of if they had a hand in that competition or trying to get her to win, regardless of any of that, at the end of the day, God still had his hand in the mix of this competition. Just because she might have honestly been given that competition by making the competition something that she would easily win, but at the same time, it's just like that competition wouldn't have even been thought of if it wasn't for God. So either way it goes, if the game was rigged or if it was not, it was still an act of God because God had his hand in the pot somewhere, some way. Okay? All right, y'all. So it's the final 3, and it's down to Monty, Taylor, and Turner. So to make a long story short, Monty ended up winning the competition, so he got to choose who he wanted to take with him to the final 2. And from the final 2, the previous house guests were able to vote for who was going to win Big Brother. So he shocked everyone by choosing Taylor because the whole entire game, him and Turner did have a pact that they would take each other to the final 2. So when it got time for him to choose who he was taking with him to the final 2, he decided to take Taylor. Okay, so now that they're in the final 2, they have to give their speech because everybody who is nominated for eviction basically has to give a speech to basically let people know why they should stay in the game. So in this case, since it was only 2 of them left, they had to let all the other house guests know why they deserve to win the $750,000. So Monty got up there and he gave his little generic speech or whatever. But baby, when it was Taylor's turn, pageant queen's turn, y'all already know she wasn't gonna do no half-stepping with her speech, okay? I already knew that she was gonna come with it with her speech just based on the fact that this is what she does for a living, okay? Like she sells herself for a living. So I knew that she would do phenomenal at selling herself, and she gave the best speech, in my opinion, in Big Brother history. She might have persuaded a lot of people in the jury to vote for her based on this speech alone and how inspirational and how great this speech was. Check this out, y'all.
Jury members, I am someone who has won 3 competitions, 2 of them including HOHs. But I'm so much more than the wins I have had. I've proven that I can win and wield power, but I'm more than my wins in this game. Monty may have more blood on his hands than me, but as someone who has sat on this eviction block 6 times on eviction night, I have bled out the most in this game. But I have bandaged myself together every single time and gotten up and continued to fight because like so many other women in the world, that is what we have to do to get to the end. We and put ourselves first, while also looking out for the rest of the ones who are behind us. I have been falsely accused and unjustly accused of using someone's mental health as a piece in this game. I've been called the B word so many more times in this this house than I have in my real life. Not to mention, there was an attempted all-white alliance formed, and I have overcome so much in this game, and I've come to understand that I am not a shield, I am a sword. I am not a victim, I am a victor. And if there is one word that is going to describe the entire season, it is resiliency. And if you are to ask yourself who the most resilient person of the season has been, it is me. So I thought I would humbly ask you for your vote, but I'm challenging all of you to decide what type of winner you want to have this year. Do we want the same thing where we see evictions and comp wins be the path to success? Or do we want a winner where we choose resiliency, we choose persistence as a reason to win this game? I have never given up on myself, and I refuse to do it tonight when I'm sitting next to such a strong competitor. Jury members, I am challenging you to make the hard decision and change the course of this game and choose progress for the course of this game. I can be the winner of this season, and I promise you will not do it in vain if you choose me tonight. Thank you, Taylor.
Yes, girl, when she said, I am not a shield, I am a sword. I am not a victim, I am a victor. Will the church say amen? Listen, that was the best. She just, chef's kiss, okay? Chef's kiss. She literally read them to filth. Well, not to filth, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, she read them they rights in that speech, okay? Like, she really came through with that speech. And honestly and truly, I really do feel like she does embody what the game of Big Brother is, because ultimately you can compare her to Michael. He had won so many competitions. He won 6 veto competitions. He won HOH like 3 times, and he still lost. So it really doesn't really come down to who can win the most games or win the most competitions. It comes down to who is resilient, who can maneuver their way through the game, who can talk themselves and get themselves out of sticky situations. It's all about your social game at the end of it. And she proved that she had the best social game because she was nominated 6 different times and she never once got evicted to go home. Not one time. Not one time. Even when it came down to, at one point, there was a tie that had to be broken, and Monty did end up breaking a tie for her. But this is when they was, you know, boyfriend and girlfriend, so of course he was. But yeah, like, she never ever went home. So she truly embodies what it is to play Big Brother. You don't really have to just win all of the competitions to be considered the best player in the game. Because there was one player a couple seasons ago, I think his name was Paul. He barely won any competitions, but he was so good at creating and building relationships that he ended up winning. So it's not all about the amount or the statistics, okay? Listen, it ain't about the statistics, all right? When it comes to God, it's not about the statistics, okay? It's not about that. It's not about the numbers. It's not about what you have, because listen, it doesn't matter about what possessions you have. It doesn't matter about your statistics. All of that does not matter when it comes to God, because God has no limits on your life. Y'all limit yourselves. God doesn't have those limits on you. You are putting those limits on you. But when it comes to God, he can make a way out of no way. He can turn a nobody into somebody. He can turn who is in last place and put them in first place, because that is the type of God that we serve. And that's why I just talking so passionately about this, because this is just like crazy. Well, not crazy, but this is just astonishing. This is astonishing. So, of course, your girl was able to pull through that win. And not only did she win, but she won by a landslide, okay?
And just for the record, the remaining 3 keys, Joseph, Jasmine, and Indy, all voted for Taylor to be the winner. So Taylor won by 8-1.
Only one person voted for Monty. So she won by an 8-1 vote. She was 1 vote away from winning unanimously, okay? Listen, she took that win all the way home. And I knew Monty was in his feelings because he really thought that he was going to beat her. But at the end of the day, he didn't totally lose, because he still ended up winning $75,000 for being the runner-up, which was more money than what he came with, right? But not only did she win first place and win the $750K, but she also ended up winning America's Favorite House Guest.
And we have made history because the winner of America's favorite house guest is also the winner of Big Brother. Congratulations, Taylor.
which gave her an additional $50,000. And she is the first person in Big Brother history ever to win first place, to take home the $750K, and to win America's favorite house guest. So she took home a whopping $800,000. She claimed all the prize money, okay? Left no crumbs on the table, okay? No crumbs left. She ate that all the way up, okay? Listen, when God is on your side and when God comes through for you, he will exceed your expectations beyond belief. Beyond belief. Y'all, and then on top of that, when she had came out and they was like have the confetti everywhere and everybody was hugging her, who was standing there hugging her? Daniel and Nicole and Terrence. All of them was standing there trying to get them a hug, trying to talk to her and tell them, oh, I knew you was gonna win, baby girl. Da 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 da. You know how older black men do. You know, trying to act like he always knew that she was gonna win. And then you had Daniel over here gave her a hug, which that was very mature of Taylor, because I probably would have slapped Daniel, but that's neither here or there. She gave him a hug or whatever, kept it classy, kept it cute like she was doing the whole time. And then Nicole want to hug Taylor and sit there and try to have a full-fledged conversation with her, which I felt like Nicole was trying to plead her case with her, because she knew once she got home she was going to see what really happened that season. So I can read Taylor's lips a little bit, and it looked like she had said, it's okay, I still love you, I'm still your friend, or whatever she said. But it's just funny to me how now they want to explain themselves to her and try to act like they wasn't doing the most towards her, because they didn't went and they watched back the season and they saw that she was not doing all of the stuff that they were accusing her of doing, which is why I don't understand why they couldn't tell that by actually being in the house. You were actually in the house. You couldn't tell that she wasn't doing all that stuff when you was there. You had to go back and watch the footage to know that she was being genuine and she was genuinely a nice person. Sounds suspicious. But listen, the second book of Samuel, chapter 22, verse 44 says, "You gave me victory over my accusers. You preserved me as the ruler over nations. People I don't even know serve me." Okay? Listen, verse 46 says, "They all lose their courage and come trembling from their strongholds." The same people who was crucifying her, the same people who was bullying her, cursing her out, shaming her, were the same people who were there on that stage when she won, trying to talk to her, trying to hug her, trying to explain and plead and explain themselves to her. Because they went home and they saw what people were saying about them and realized that they were crappy people. They realized that they did her wrong. So I really hope this transforms the way that they treat people in their future, and they stop stereotyping people and stop with these microaggressions against black women. Because black women are on a whole nother level. We are supersonic, okay? It's nothing a black woman can't do. Period. So next time you try to come for a black woman, just know that you will never win. We always get the last word. Period. And I got one more Bible verse for y'all. "Yet what we suffer now is nothing compared to the glory that he will reveal for us later." Romans chapter 8, verse 18. Everything that we are going through Everything that you go through along the journey will never be smooth, but just know that God is directing your steps. He is making a path in the wilderness for you. He is making a river in the desert for you. Lean not on your own understanding. You might not be able to understand why you are going through things right now, but in the end, it was all for the purpose of God's glory. God will make a way for you. He will prepare your table in front of your enemies. They made sure to invite the people that were bullying her. They made sure to make sure that they were there to see her win and have to congratulate her. Don't you think that's ironic? They got evicted a long time ago. They were one of the first ones to go. They was up on that stage so that they can see her claim her victory. Because the Lord will use your enemies as your footstool. If those people would have never treated her terribly, if those people would have never threw dirt on her name, would have never accused her of the things that they were accusing her of, she probably wouldn't even have won. But because they decided to mistreat her and abuse her, God turned that terrible, unfair, unjust, ridiculous, jealous, envious situation into her stepping stool. That's what propelled her through the competition, because she was the underdog. And whoever is last will be first, and whoever is first will be last. I think that is so crazy. How the very person who bullied her the most, who cursed her out on national TV, had all the power the first week, and she was at risk of going home the first week. She was at risk of going home at his expense. She was in last place the first week. Listen, the Lord will prepare a table in the presence of your enemies. All the sufferings that you are going through right now is nothing compared to what God has in store for you. So if you don't understand why things are happening to you right now, why the world is crashing down on you right now, why it seems like everybody is against you, if you're wondering why you feel alone right now, if you feeling like, why me? If it ain't one thing, it's another. Just know, keep the faith. Keep loving others the same way Christ did. Keep being the great person that you are. Keep staying true to yourself. And keep your eyes on God. Keep your eyes on Jesus. And everything will come together to work for its greater good. And the very things that tried to stop you, the ways of the enemy that tried to prevent you from getting to where you are now, they will sit and watch. They will sit and watch as you claim your victory. So, needless to say, that's all. I ain't got nothing else to say. I ain't got nothing else to say. Congratulations to Taylor Hale on being the very first Black woman ever in history to win Big Brother and take home not only the first place prize, but the extra money too. She ate and left no crumbs. She had a crown when she walked in, and she gained another one when she left, even though they tried to tilt her crown. So keep your faith in God, and just know that whatever you're going through right now, it's going to get better. So keep holding on. And that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. And be sure to comment down below what was your biggest takeaway from this. And yeah, comment down below what you took away from this, because this is a wonderful testimony. And I'm glad that I was able to witness it, because I literally felt like I was the only Black person on earth who watched Big Brother, honestly, because I would talk to my friends about it and they'd be like, I don't watch that. And it's like, you should, because it's a good show. So yeah, me and my daughter, we literally watched all the episodes together. Like, she was even excited for it to come on. So I'm glad she got to witness that too at her young age. But thank y'all so much for tuning into this video, and be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn your post notifications on so you know when I post more faith-based content based on the culture. Okay, so I will see y'all later. Love y'all.